Casparij to preview the UEFA Women's Champions League game against Chelsea here at Stamford Bridge tomorrow. We'll start with questions in the room. Anton?
Hi Nick, nice to see you. First off, obviously, look, fourth game in 12 days, but I'm just wondering how the squad is fitness-wise and anything you specifically around running squad.
Yeah, we're still working through the team. Obviously, you can see after the game on Sunday the sort of
recording in progress
squad, the strain that we've had on the squad. But the medical team, the performance team are doing an incredible job working through the team. So either the likes of, Alba and Bunny won't make the game, but, it wasn't ideal to take off some key players, but we've worked really hard this week to make sure that the squad will be competitive for the game.
As a coach, how difficult is this game to prepare for? Because there must be so many scenarios of being in front, being behind, Chelsea being in desperation mode, all these kind of things that you have to prepare for.
Yeah, I think ultimately we have to prepare for the most difficult game we're going to face, right? We know how important this competition is for Chelsea. We know what a great team they are and where they are in the league. And they played their cards a little bit on Sunday in the sense of how strong they finished and the players that they brought off the bench, right? So we sort of know the majority of the team without knowing everybody. We know the majority of the team that we're going to play against, and we know that Chelsea are going to be incredibly up for the game, incredibly motivated. I think when you bring in a manager that's previously won the Champions League and from the most successful women's team that has ever been, played the game, I think you're making your intentions known that the Champions League is probably the aim. So we know that they are 2-0 down, that we're going to face, the most motivated, aggressive form of Chelsea.
Motivation is something I suppose as a coach you have to do a lot, but this is the kind of game you don't have to do that, do you? I presume players are ready to run through walls tomorrow.
Yeah, I said before when I walked into the dressing room, right, I looked in the players' eyes, and when I walked in, the likes of Lauren Hemp and Alex Greenwood were out of the squad, and I still saw belief and a real ambition and a real motivation to win trophies in this group. And, it's not been ideal over the last 2 weeks to lose, Bunny Shaw and Alba Fagina, and it wasn't ideal on Sunday, but, you look at the like of Kerstin and the group, they're still training incredibly hard. I still see the belief. They still, across the 3 games, I thought we had an incredible threat in the game, and I know we will tomorrow night. I've said after the game, I believe we can score in the game, and that gives us an incredible chance of progressing, right? So although we know that we're going to play a really, really tough team in their home in front of their crowd, I believe we've got a really special group here that actually believes and just wants to go play an attack team. So it's been a pleasure to work with them this week. I can't wait for the game. I can't wait to do the rest of the games. It's a really exciting group.
How much are you just looking forward to getting on that pitch tomorrow?
Really, really looking forward. Obviously, it's an incredible game, and Champions League's always special, and to having an opportunity to progress in the tournaments is very exciting. And I think not only me, but us as a team are looking forward to be as competitive as possible tomorrow.
This is obviously the end of the 4-game series. But it kind of feels like this feels like the biggest game of the 4-game series as well. Is it kind of like to go out with a bang and just sort of finish this 4-game series potentially with the victor? I can see the smile on your face. How would that feel? Yeah,
I mean, we also want to make it even when it comes to the outcomes of the games, but yeah, it's the end of it. I think it's a very special scenario to play the same team 4 times and to play such big games as well with the cup final, Champions League. So yeah, we're looking forward to going out with a bang tomorrow.
Finally for me, look, it hasn't obviously been the ideal season so far, but how much would it mean to be able to, dump the English champions out of the Champions League and go far in this competition?
I think it means a lot. I think regardless of how we would have done before this game, I think it's important for us as a club to get into the Champions League as far as we can. And I think we, like Nick keeps saying, we have a lot of belief in ourselves. And when we started the season off in the group stages, we believed we could get really far in this competition. And I think we have really shown that all throughout the season. So I'm very proud of us as a team, and hopefully tomorrow we can continue this journey. Thank you.
George?
Hi Nick, hi Kerstin.
that's okay. Nick, we'll start with you. Obviously, some good news seeing Yui and Laya both in training today. We're obviously quite concerned about them on Sunday, so I imagine that's a real big boost before this game.
Yeah, I said before, after the game there was concern. It's not ideal to bring out two key players, and I think you saw the effect of that. But that's what I've been brought here to do, is find the solutions for that. And, I hold myself accountable to that at the weekend. The plan probably has to be a little bit better. The group did an amazing job over 3 games. I think you can see that the games are even. Whichever players come on and come off, this is 2 top teams in the women's game going at each other. So to have those players back, I think, is a testament to them and their commitment, but also a testament to the performance and medical team and the work that they've put in to make sure that, Yui Hasegawa left the stadium in crutches. Maybe I'm sort of jumping the gun a little bit here, saying that she's going to be ready and we've got to wait another day because we didn't do so much in training. But the group has been incredible. I will say again, the likes of Gracie Pryor and Lily Murphy and all the younger players, to go into these games and to be as confident and as hungry and ambitious as they are is only going to help the players that have played the majority of the season. So I'm fully confident in the group. Whoever we put out, whether those players make it or not, we're going to go attack the game because I can believe we can score in the game.
It's obviously a 90-minute game, so potentially extra time off the bat, depending on how things go. But how important would the first sort of 15, 20 minutes of this game be, given you talked about Chelsea being so motivated and so hungry?
Yeah, but I don't really see it like that because the last 20 minutes of the last one was the most important part, right? So, of course, the start of the game is going to be really intense. It's going to be fairly frantic. It's going to be Chelsea trying to score early. But I think, you can see that a lot of our threat in the game on Sunday was when Chelsea were attacking us. You look at Carolyn's goal, you look at Carolyn's chance, Jess Park's goal that didn't count. They all come from moments when we're defending our box. So we know we're a threat in all of those parts. And that is my idea. I believe that this team can be a threat in every phase of the game. And if we can suffer like we did in the end stages of the Champions League, we can score like we did on 81, 82 minutes and get, so we'll be a threat in the game whether we can see the goal, whether we don't. We know if we score, it makes the game more difficult for Chelsea. But we know that this team is a top team. They're not in the position they're in at top of the league with a League Cup in the cabinet. We're playing against the best team in the women's game in England at the moment. So we've got to embrace that and attack it.
Thanks, Nick. And Kerstin, for you, obviously the first leg performance and result was fantastic, probably one of City's best this season. How much do you kind of take that into this game, or is it a case of trying to wipe that and take this as it's a 0-0, it's almost a cup final in itself?
I think how I can't speak for everyone, but how I always approach is we start 0-0, and obviously we take a lot of confidence from our previous performance, and we know what we did well. We also know where we can improve and taking that into the game. But I think tomorrow we'll go out to attack the game and to not to offend the 2-0. So I think it'll be 0-0 tomorrow.
And Nick's mentioned Carolyn and obviously her goal. How much have you enjoyed playing with her? She seems to have really hit her stride in the last few weeks, and again had another brilliant game on Sunday.
Yeah, obviously everybody sees Carolyn's been brilliant, and she's not only a brilliant player, she's also a brilliant person to work with, and I've been lucky that she's on my side. But yeah, no, she's amazing. She works hard. She brings so much energy to the game, and is really key in moments like on Sunday. So yeah, no, she's amazing to have in our squad.
Thanks, Matt.
That's it.
Hi, first for Kerstin. You went to Barcelona in December, defending the 2-0 lead in the head-to-head, and you lost that one 3-0. What lessons have you learned from that? And particularly, it wasn't a game you even conceded a goal earlier.
Yeah, that was a tough game, but I think this one feels a little bit different. I think we have a lot of confidence, and obviously we've played them 4 times, so know what we're up against. But yeah, obviously it's an important game, and we'll try not to lose 3-0 and come out with a win tomorrow.
You'd had to play against Lauren James 3 times in the last 2 weeks. There was a moment on Sunday when you faced her up and you were smiling at her. Have you learned any tactics about how to make them as effective and getting in her mind one of those?
Yeah, no, I've had the pleasure of playing against her 3 times. I think she's obviously an incredible player, and I enjoy playing against players like that. she's very techie, so I can always appreciate her trying to get past me and using her tricks. But she's a good player, and hopefully we'll face each other tomorrow as well.
So Nick, you personally have come through 2 Champions League quarter-finals. In the second one of those, you won the first leg 2-0 against Linköping, and in the second leg you really attacked it and then put them out the game straight away. Is that something you might look to do tomorrow to try and put Chelsea out the game?
It's my style, it's the way I see the game. And, just to pick up on your last question about the boss, I've seen this game and, to me, I think we're a different team now. I think we have a threat in our defensive phase. And I think that's how you attack the game. We're not naive enough to think we're not going to have to defend tomorrow. We know we're playing against a great team that has a desire to achieve their main objective. But I think you can see in the last 3 games that we do have a threat in our defensive phases of the game, whether that be, being aggressive on the front foot or whether it's suffering and defending our goal. The likes of Mary Fowler, Caroline, Alba Fagino, our offensive players, Jess Park, Lily Murphy, their mindset is to attack in these phases because we have such commitment behind the ball. And, if we get those moments tomorrow, which I believe we will, we have to be clinical.
Picking up on that, you've obviously played against teams where you coached defences to stop you being made. Now you're coaching it. Last week when she came on, she seemed to be absolutely no fun. She could have scored more than the 2 that she did. Do you feel like for somebody who's achieved so much in the game, in Champions League matches, position she hasn't won, there's a bit of extra fun about it?
Viv's a world-class player. I think her previous career to me coming in and working with her shows that. I think, my belief is in these games you need your world-class players to be at their best. They are the difference. This is 2 teams going against each other and the game is fairly even, or the last 3 have been. The difference in the games is, those moments from those world-class players, and with the likes of Viv and Jill and, Carolyn, and I think Viv is a good example of how we've got to attack this game. We brought her off the bench in the first leg, and we will plan for that. Maybe not Viv, but one of our players that maybe played the game will come off the bench because we want to be strong right the way to the end, right? Like I said, I've personally learned a lot of lessons from the previous games. So, we need all of our players to be at their best tomorrow. It's a Champions League quarter-final, right, with a semi-final at stake.
Cheers.
Any more questions from the room? We'll go to Zoom now if anyone has any questions here. Nope, thanks very much everyone. Thank you.
Decisive, I like it.
Yes.
Sharp.